we went to this one guy. His name's Uncle Toby. And we went over to his house, right?
Bro, I know who you're
And
talking about. You said Uncle Toby. Before you tell this story, I know exactly who you're talking about. You went with Uncle Toby.
So Uncle Toby, he's similar, but he's a male version of Olivia. And
Why is he an uncle?
so good old...
was Augustus.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be Augustus. I went blank, so I just went to the next thing that came to my mind. I was
Uncle Toby was the next thing.
I was just thinking about muesli bars.
Yeah,
so.
He's so hungry right now. He's like, fuck.
Uncle Toby, sponsor us.
I feel like next person's gonna be Kellogg's or something.
3, 2, 1, and we're live, boys. So welcome to Hanging with Hardcore episode number 13. On today's podcast, we're going to be talking about leveling up by stepping out of your comfort zone and taking on more responsibilities. But before we start, I just want to say a shout out to everyone that's been watching our content, that's been subscribed, because we just hit 100 subscribers on our channel, which is a huge milestone for us. So well done, boys. Well done.
Let's go, boys.
Well done.
Feel it, boys. Feel it.
Let's go, boys.
How many weeks has that been?
Huh?
How many weeks has that been?
So we started our channel July 15th this year. So July 15, 2021.
Wow.
And I've done that. Like I've seen the analytics and stuff. And so far we've got more than 5,600 views in total, which is pretty impressive, you know,
Wow.
considering we do long form podcasts and why the hell should people listen to us, right?
Yeah.
Considering all that,
Yeah.
we hit our first 100 subscribers. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Let's go, boys. That's a good shit.
Yeah.
Let's pump it out, boys.
So again, back to episode 13, stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, I guess we have like a few little things that we'll talk about, but these are like little actions that you should be thinking about. So our first one that we have is to save up $10,000. $10,000. This is like super important because like this will really test you because in this society, what is it all about? It's always about consuming and spending. It's a major achievement. You know, it's a great one to have when you're just beginning because 10,000 is no joke. That will take quite some time.
Yeah. You guys remember like your bank accounts when you were younger with no money in them? 10K used to look like what? The biggest number.
Yeah.
10K was like
crazy. Yeah. Like you could not comprehend how much money 10K was.
Yeah.
Looking at that number in the bank. Psychologically as well, just having 10K in there.
Yeah.
That's 5 figures.
Yeah. Not even just invested, just literally being able to look at that 10K. You're like, you can actually you can give yourself a little tap on the back. You can be proud of yourself after doing that.
Yeah, I reckon you're training like you're sacrificing muscle.
Yeah.
So you've done that work and it's there because you need that sacrificing muscle forever because all great returns in life, where they come from? They come from compound interest, which is always like that long-term game. Always that sacrificing, that patience.
It's like that compound. If you look at the compound interest benefits of doing it long term, let's say you're doing like a 50-year window, you actually make the most gains in the last 10 years, like from 40 to 50 years, because of that compound effect, which is exponential.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they don't have that patience to sit through that last 10 years. So if you can see the full window, then you're going to actually become really prosperous and wealthy.
Yeah.
Prosperous. What a word. That's a banger.
I've heard before that the average 30-year-old in places like Australia and the US, once you minus out all of their bad debts, they don't have $1,000 to their name. They're still living paycheck to paycheck at the age of 30. So if you can save up 10K, in your early 20s, you'll really have a massive head start.
And you can do it before that as well. Like when you're younger, you don't have any bills or any responsibilities. So we've always said the younger you get invested, the better, because compound interest, it works on time.
Yeah.
But, you don't have anything to pay for other than wants when you're younger. Like we all know someone who's younger in their lives who's like got in between 10 and 20K just from working and not having anything to spend it on.
Yeah.
I think we should tap into that more because like you're at such a big advantage at a younger age because you've got that huge runway because you can compound longer with your money. But at the same time, again, it comes back to your comfort zone, right? Where you're influenced by so many different things that it's hard for you to actually save. And we've all gone through that, right? I remember for me personally, when I was younger, probably like 17, I actually went into uni at 17. So I was a kid still, right? And I didn't really have a job. So I was actually getting Centrelink money, but I should have saved that because I wasn't working, but I didn't have that mindset to save. And what would I do? I would literally just buy the dumbest shit. I would buy the dumbest shit. It's like, you guys know Fast Times, the store?
The store.
I would buy anything and everything in that store.
What is it?
It's fast time.
It's like a
It's like a
streetwear
Oh,
store.
really?
Yeah, so I would buy like fucking hats and shit that I would never. I had like 50 hats.
Why? Why?
I did not need 50 hats.
I've seen you wear a hat 4 times.
Yeah, I did not need 50 hats. I had fucking like oversized t-shirts that didn't look good on me.
Yeah.
I was like literally going through like a phase of trying to fit in, but that cost me. Like I didn't have the knowledge back then, but I feel like that is what's affecting young people. It's the external, oh, I want to be like this. I just want to fit in. Let me just live in the moment
Yeah.
and not save.
Yeah. I was like the same way as well. Like I always used to think it was like cool. You had to have that stuff, you know, certain types of hats or whatever it happens to be. But now, like I see the game, these guys, they're creating brands and it's kind of like a fishing net. It's like a fishing net to just take your money. So, you know, it's like, now I can see behind the scenes and actually how it works. It's just an exchange. You know, here's a silly hat. We're trying to say that this will make you cool if you buy this hat. Give us your money. It's like a way to, in a way, steal from you for free.
Something I wish I knew was when I was younger was like, if you like look at all the people who are buying the things that make you look rich and extrapolate out to where they end up in life, it's not a very good place.
No.
I think like
Terrible.
back in the day, like hats are not cheap as well, right? So back in the day, I probably spent more than $1,000 on hats. Think about that, $1,000. All right, that, you know, I could have invested when I was 17 years old, or just saved that money because I didn't have the knowledge to invest, but just saved it and learned something on how to invest.
Yeah,
dude, that $1,000 would be easily 10K now.
Yeah,
Easily.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was similar as you. Like I bought a ton of clothes that I didn't even need. Like literally a few months or a year after, it's literally like I don't even wear it anymore.
yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
It's so pointless.
There's that minimalism documentary on Netflix
Yeah.
where they talk about there's actually 52 seasons of like fashion, and that's like there's like every week there's actually a new season. You know, it was used to be like 4 seasons, you know, just the standard seasons, but now there's 52. So the odds are the average person doesn't have a piece of clothing from all 52. So you always feel like you're missing out.
Yeah.
It's all by design. You know, it's just questions like who came up with like bedside tables, and why do you have to have 2? You know, like
that's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
It really looks.
Why do you need
flips
to?
up, yeah.
But like even after watching that documentary, I realized how important, like, for me, how important minimalism was.
Yeah.
Because like it just takes so much stress off you. Like when you
Frees
have
your
so
mind.
many clothes, you have so much to decide from, and every day you have to decide what I'm gonna wear. Whereas when you're minimalistic, you're like, oh, it's just this
Yeah.
top, this pants. It's so much easier.
I think it definitely is a balance as well. Like,
Yeah.
because you can go too far when you have all of these objects and all that stuff. But then, like, when I've been traveling as well, just like living out of 2 suitcases, I'm just like, every now and then, I'm just like, where's my good shit? Because I don't have anything.
Oh, I gotta have coffee in my fucking mouth.
What the hell? I did not see that coming at all.
Dude, I'm zooming, you know.
But like, sometimes it's frustrating because you don't have anything.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
you know,
I mean I guess that's why younger people spend more money, because they like. I think like especially the middle class.
Yeah.
Like I was like lower middle class, right? So like I had nothing. My parents had 2 mortgages, working so hard to pay that off. So they didn't really. They were smart. They were saving, but we never talked about money and saving, right? All they would do is just save, but never buy us stuff. So then I grew up with, you know, I didn't have a lot of stuff. As soon as I got money, I just wanted to spend it because I could spend it.
Yeah, I remember getting my first job just because similar position, like parents didn't have money. I got my first job to be able to spend money.
Mm.
I was like, damn, I want to buy these things. I want to buy a lot more. How the hell am I going to get? So I had to go get a job. Simple. Wasn't going to come from anywhere else. So, but probably not the best mindset.
But at least you're working at like, you're before 15, right?
Yeah,
14, 9 months.
pretty much on the dot.
Yeah.
I was there was a Nando's very close, and that's like was one of my first jobs. Little few things before that, but main job was like Nando's, and I was on the doorstep of like Nando's every day before I turned like 14, 9 months, and 15. Like question, like, hey, can I have a job? Hey, can I have a job? Hey, can I have a job? Every day, because I used to eat there and spend all of mum and dad's money eating chips because that's the best shit.
Nando's chips, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I like these chips. Why don't I just work here and get the chips?
Oh, so you just kept asking Nando's.
Yeah. The guy there, because I went there pretty much like almost like every day, if not every second day. I can't remember the guy's name, the manager, but we came relatively close for a customer and a manager. It was like very, very cordial. Every time I come in, I'd be like, hey, can I have a job? Can I have a job? Can I have a job?
Yeah.
Until one day they gave you a job.
Well, like I wasn't able to have a job. Like I wasn't old enough to have a job. And then one day I turned 15, gave him my resume, and then 3 days later I was hired. Because he already knew who I was. He already knew a lot about me. He just went, yep, no worries. Come over.
I'll tell you what, like speaking about stepping outside your comfort zone and all of that, that's pretty hard to do. Like at that age, not many people at the age of 15 actually want to go to work and do all that stuff. I'll tell you what, like that would have been a really good perspective shift as well, because that may, like in your subconscious, helped you to decide that, oh shit, like working full time 9 to 5 job, deep down it's like, oh, that's not for me, because like you started to test it a little bit. Like we were probably starting to think of it a little bit like, man, if I'm doing this 50 hours a week, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that was the point. It was like, wait, I get this much money if I work this hard? How the hell do these people get rich? How hard are they working?
So did
That
you
doesn't
always
make
knew?
sense.
Did you always know that you wanted to get rich? Or did you
Um,
just wanted to like have money, enough money to buy what you wanted?
the only thing I can say that was like really, really kind of like my thought process was, it was pretty obvious to me that the lifestyle I was living was not what I wanted. I wanted heaps more. Just selfishly and individually, I wanted more for me. And one of the major separating factors was money. It was like, these people have everything they want. They have money. We don't have everything we want. We don't have money. It was a very easy thing. I didn't know how to make money or the right way to make money or anything about money, but I thought the answer was working as hard as possible.
Yeah.
Not as hard as possible, sorry, just working, because I didn't really have like the best work ethic of all time, especially when I started. Still a child and just really, really immature. But I would always, like, my working when I was younger, before the age of probably like 17, 18, like when we started working together, would have been like, all right, I've got this I want to buy. All right, I'm going to work this hard. So it's like, all right, I'm going to work this amount of shifts, sacrifice anything I had to do because I want to buy that thing. So I'd work hard to get that thing, and then I'd be a lazy little shit again.
Yeah. Well, there's some good lessons in there, because I remember you saved up, paid with your own money, bought your car.
Yep.
I reckon that's really good stuff. Like, like one day if I ever have kids, I'll do the same. I don't want to pay, get them a car. It's not teaching them anything.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Like, I mean, the reality of the situation was it was never going to be possible for my parents to buy me a car. It wasn't going to happen. I was lucky the prices of cars weren't as ridiculous they are right now. But I still did a decent amount of research and got a really, really good car for a decent amount of price as well. So, but we're going through the same thing with my little sister at the moment. It's like, she wants a car. And it's on her to buy it for herself.
On the chance if there is any 14, 15-year-olds watching that are looking to get jobs, like what Doc did was awesome. Like going up to like the place that you want to work at and just asking them consistently. Something that me and my friends did is like after school or like even on a weekend, we'd like go to the shops and just go every single place with our resume and just hand it in.
Yeah, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
The more you do, eventually
Dude,
you apply.
I had to apply at so many places until I got Nando's. And I applied at Nando's Chadstone, and they led me to Heatherton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that how it worked?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, as a kid, sometimes you have a little bit of advantage depending on the place because you cost nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
Oh.
have, like, you're actually valuable to an employer, but if you can recognize the fact that someone, like, they want to pay, they want you to work more because they pay you less. That's business cost expenses. How it makes sense, right? So if you can be that young kid who has a decent head on their shoulders, who's like, all right, I can work every day after school. Maybe not every day. You got homework. I can work weekends, no problem. You know, that for if they have to pay an older person or full time for a Sunday or a Saturday, they're paying considerably higher rate than if they pay you, I don't even know what, $9 an hour. Like, I think when I first started was like a touch under $9 or maybe $9, something around there, which seems like, oh my god, it's not a lot of money, but it's like, you're young. What the hell do you expect to get paid? I know nothing.
You have no skill when you're young.
I literally nothing. I just have, I can work.
Yeah.
And generally, like fast food places are more likely to hire younger people. Like when I was younger, I wanted to work at like Coles and Woolies because I thought that was like better. Like, because I didn't want to be in like greasy fast food. But it was actually so much better that I got a job at Nando's. Or even like McDonald's. The training's like really crazy.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong about working at Macca's and Nando's, man. It's I argue it's the best place to work.
Yeah,
absolutely. If you wanna kind of like work out what you're made of, you do a rush, which is like the busy period in a restaurant. You'll work out how to deal with stress really quickly, and if you don't, you won't survive. Simple.
And like, what does that chick that sits at front of the classroom that knows all the answers, Olivia, do? She's always the checkout chick at goals. She learns nothing there. It's the same thing again and again and again. You learn no skills. Like, that's the good thing about Nando's and all that.
Dude.
Good old Olivia.
That's 100%
keeps
right.
getting right.
Poor Olivia around there.
she's just scanning items, like thinking about she knows everything.
But honestly speaking, like, people literally choose their job with that in mind. Like, oh, it's gonna be easy and pay.
Yeah.
You don't want to think about pay and easy.
Yeah.
You want to think about upgrading yourself. What skills can I acquire?
Absolutely.
That's right.
Well, like, talking about getting out of your comfort zone, it's incredibly important to like become, learn as many skills as possible while you're working. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. I don't want to jump ahead, so I'm going to cut myself right there and not. All right.
It's coming up, yeah. Maybe one more point about the saving the 10K. We're talking about fashion and all that stuff and the 52 different seasons and all of that. But something like, we invest in like the luxury brands like Louis Vuitton and Hermes, and they're some of our greatest investments that we have. And we research all about these companies, and something that people don't realize is, like, say back in the day, as with Louis Vuitton as an example, the bags were actually really good, really high quality bags. And it used to be like a thing, like, it used to be like the same as suits. You used to buy one suit, last your whole life. You would invest like $1,000, and it's just like the best suit and it just lasts forever. So it's actually a really good use of money. So now there's a trend in the fashion industry, like, called fast fashion, where they're reducing the quality on purpose. Kind of like our phones with the batteries. They make them with really low quality batteries that die quickly. So then we have to upgrade. The tech and all of that's really good with the phones, but because the battery dies, it powers the whole device. Like, damn it, got to buy another phone. So it's the same with the fashion industry. Like, shit breaks. It's not as well made as back in before. So like with Louis Vuitton, it used to be like proper leather that used to, as it ages, it actually gets better. Like, it has this patina and this personality about it. And it was like a wonderful product. But now, because it's backed by investors, and what do we want? We want more profit margin.
Scalability.
And all of this stuff. So what are they doing? Now it's fake leather because it's really cheap. The buckles are no longer like good metals like brass and stuff like that, where they're strong. And no joke, when you look at a Louis Vuitton bag now compared to the old versions, you can get the same design bag. The old one would like match perfectly. But the new one, if you like look at the zips is like actually a different type of metal. It's just like being sometimes just spray painted on, and then the I don't know what they're called, but like the belts on it where the leather strap comes in, it's all actually different. It comes from different factories in China that are focusing on that one thing. So now it doesn't even match.
So is it like
Consumerism, boys.
Is it like they have different tiers of quality?
Oh no, now it's just the quality is constantly reducing. So like the quality back in the day was really good. There was not that much profit margin in it. Now they're just squeezing the quality lower and lower and lower. And now it's just about marketing to make you feel like you're missing out. And then, they reduce the supply of these things on purpose. So then you feel like, oh, I can't even buy one of these beautiful bags. And I do think they are beautiful designs, but the actual bag of what it's made out of, material wise, is actually very cheap. So something that people don't realize is, say with like technology companies, after everything's accounted for, like the profit margin can be 30% and plus, right? With these luxury brands, so 30% is really big because, say, like back in Nando's, after you pay for staff, rent,
10%.
bills, and all of that stuff, royalties, there's only 5% left for the business owner. So having 30% left or more is heaps. But with some of these luxury brands, the bags are marked up so much that, no joke, some of them are 95% profit. It's wild. Like an average bag might be like only $30 or $40 sold for,
and that's
$3,000.
that's the brand.
Yeah.
It's just pure branding and marketing.
The funniest thing is like, who's the demographic for this?
Mm.
It's not the super rich people.
Yeah.
They don't buy this shit.
Yeah. They know it's a fishing net. It's
Yeah.
that trap.
Mm.
Take your money.
You see people like Zucks who only buys one shirt, the same shirt, and say, oh, it's an okay shirt. That's a $400 shirt. But the quality of that shirt is worth every
Fits
dollar in it.
perfectly.
No one knows who that shirt is though.
Mm.
Because it's not got Louis Vuitton and some logo all over it. Like, it's a plain shirt, but it's a quality item. That's not how a lot of people think. Well, the 1% think like that, but the majority do not, and that's why they get suckered into Louis Vuitton's fishing net.
And a lot of people to that might say like, oh yeah, my favorite rapper wears like Louis Vuitton or Prada or like Gucci, but they're probably like getting it for free.
Yeah. Or your rapper's just an average guy who knows how to sing and just made money.
Yeah.
Like, he's not.
He could not even be wearing that. He could just be rapping about that.
Yeah.
How do you know he's wearing that?
But that's like them doing the marketing, right? Like,
Yeah.
if they see if younger people see their favorite rappers wearing it, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's
Yeah.
the fashion. I need to get that.
Yeah.
It's all about looking the part, not about actually playing the part.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, how many videos have we seen on the internet of like rappers' chains being tested for real diamonds and they're all fake? Like, it's about playing the part.
Yeah.
As long as it looks like the part, then oh my god, it's the real thing.
You know what's crazy? I was watching a video with J. Cole. I think it was either J. Cole or Logic. I think it was J. Cole. But he was showing like his backstage of his concert, like just him setting up the concert and doing the mic tests and all that kind of stuff. And he said he had like a fake chain made to look a certain way when the lights hit. So like people, if they didn't watch that video, they would have thought that chain was real. But it's a fake chain so that it adds to his performance.
Yeah.
Because the real stuff doesn't shine like that.
No.
So the fake stuff shines like that. But people don't think it's fake.
Because people don't want quality. They don't need quality. They want the idea that it is quality, or the status that comes with quality. It's probably the right word of pretty much everything we're talking about. Status.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of the way you really want to think.
But at least he was honest about it.
Well, that makes sense though, because that's an actual business decision.
Yeah, he could have been like, it's real.
Yeah.
But it's fake.
Yeah, it's like, that makes sense. Like, he's picked his wardrobe on purpose.
Yeah.
Does he say, like, he probably doesn't say, hey, this is a real chain either. Like, in that video, he literally says it's fucking fake for a reason.
For it to look a certain way.
You just said that, yeah.
Something that we also used to talk about as well is the 1% rule. So it's just to say, like, if you're buying a materialistic item, it should be only like 1% of your net worth. So like a lot of people, when they buy these Louis Vuitton bags and stuff, it's no joke 100% of all their cash they have, or 100% of all their assets they have, because they have no assets. So they're literally saving up $5,000 to buy this bag, and now they're back at scratch. But then because they do that marketing where it's limited supply, then it tricks them, because the bag actually does go up in value if you take care of it, only because there's such a limited amount of supply. Then that tricks these people to think, oh, but it's an investment. Yeah, it's the slowest investment of all time though. And if you damage it, it's gone.
It's GG.
Yeah.
One thing I've picked up from learning from you is like, you have to justify. Can you actually justify everything you spend money on? It's like, if you're going to buy something that's a decent kind of investment or worth a decent amount, it's like, what are you actually buying it for? Is it a want? Is it a need? Is there a reason behind it? Have you done the research of what you're buying, why you're buying it? Like, if you do all those things and then you decide to make a purchase, you're going to actually make a purchase with, some decent due diligence done. So it's usually going to be close enough to the right one. If you want something and just because you want something, I'm not saying don't go out and buy it. Maybe in your position, probably don't. But like, understand that it's a want. Understand why you're buying it. You don't over justify or misjustify because you think it's a need or an investment or some shit. You just want it. And sometimes that's okay. But
I know a few people that again, I fell into this trap as well, where when I have a certain amount of money, sometimes I'll feel bored and impulsive and I want to do something with that money. That was me back in the day, right? Not so much now. I want to hold as many assets now, right? I don't need much stuff now, but that comes from the knowledge and change of mindset. But I know someone that has like 75 grand saved, and then they're like, I want to buy a 75 grand Range Rover. And then I'm like, why do you need that? And then they just said, just cause.
Yeah.
It's like they're bored and they don't know what to do. So it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't have a lot of thrills in my life. I don't have a lot of happiness. Maybe buying this next item that I don't really need. I've already got a car. Maybe buying this next item will fill that hole.
which it does.
For a week.
Exactly. And then it puts you back in that cycle of trying to fill that hole again.
And then all the expenses that come with that car,
Yeah.
like it makes it more stressful for your life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I fell into that trap so many times back in the day. Like I'll get like, $100, spend it.
Yeah. I think one trap of having a lot of money is like once you have like $100,000 plus, sometimes like when your goal is to have fun, you actually lose your creativity because you're like, hey, I'll just transfer my money to get that fun.
Yeah.
But when you're broke, you're like, how can I get like, let's say it's 90 out of 100% fun, and then you like get really creative with it. You might do, think of a way to spend only $10, but to get that same result. But then when you get rich, like sometimes you gotta be careful. Like sometimes you can't be bothered thinking. So like, oh, here's the money, just chuck it at it. If you just keep chucking it like that, then eventually you
Loses value, right?
Yeah.
It loses meaning. Yeah.
Do you guys find like keeping your money invested helps with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Seeing a $0 cash balance keeps me motivated.
Because like I know I have money in my investments, and I know I can take it out, but like I just feel bad if I take it out.
Yeah.
So then all I can use is the money in my account, in my bank account. So if I see that like under 500 or something, I'm like, oh, dude, I got to start getting creative. Like, how can I make more money?
100%. I have to remind myself that I have investments sometimes.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, fuck, I am broke as shit. Dude, where the fuck did my money go?
What have I been doing for 5 years?
Dude, I got nothing. What the fuck?
Imagine this scenario for an example, right? Talking about not spending your money. I bet you imagine we designed this asset that loses 10% guaranteed per year, right? And you invest your money in there. But
Loses?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can't touch it. So you put it in, you can't take it out for like 5 years. I reckon it's actually, for most people that don't have this skill of saving up to 10K, because they're still in their comfort zone and all that, I reckon actually is a good investment. Because if they put it in their bank account, the guaranteed rate of return is 100% loss. Because they will spend the whole thing.
That's kind of sad, man.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah, that's the first little one. Save up $10,000. The next little one is to do your detail cleaning at your home. So make sure that you're doing your deets. You've printed out your detail cleaning chart. You stuck it on your fridge and you're pumping it out every single day, taking responsibility in your home. And whatever the standard is in your house, like whatever your mom or dad or whoever is saying to you, this is what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Like instantly double it, or if not even 10 times it. Or like if you like ask your mom, like, oh, this is what I need the bathrooms. She needs the bathrooms to look like this. All right, how long does it take you to do it? 1 hour? All right, I'll get it done the same amount of time. I mean, with the same amount of quality in a 1/10 of the time. Figure it out, and then be proud about that.
Yeah.
did we preface previously that this is for someone who's like living at home, probably young as well,
Yeah.
demographic wise? Like, you're probably 18, 19, 20 at this point. You're like, you haven't got no money. You're looking at getting a job. You're thinking about going to uni and all that kind of crap, and you're still living at home. That's the demographic of the human being we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
There's intricacies to changing that, but that's the main point.
Yeah. You got to make sure you do this stuff, because like once you get out into the real world and you're living out by yourself, it's way harder. So this will give you that perspective, like we we're saying with Doc when he's gotten that job at age 15. It's the same thing. That's giving him perspective of the real world. Doing your deets when you're still living at home will give you that perspective as well.
I would say getting that job at 15 allowed me to make the decision to not go to uni.
How did you come to that conclusion?
Realizing kind of like obviously it was told to me, but realizing like, okay, the amount of like effort I put in, like working for this wage, everything, it can't correlate to becoming wealthy and rich. Right? It just doesn't make sense, right? And then uni is for me to just get a better job. So it's like I just earn a little bit more money, but like for some reason it's relatively intuitive that like even that larger amount of money is not how the real rich people do it. Like for me, that just makes sense.
Yeah. Talking about that, like I heard this stat. If Jesus never died and was a CEO of a company earning $200,000 back in the day for 2020 years until today, right? So he works for 2020 years, earning $200,000 per year. He would only have $404 million. So like people make this stuff like so quickly in 30 years, through investing and compounding their money.
It just didn't make sense to me that working's the way to get there. So it was
You
like,
can't.
making that distinction was like, well, me going and get a better job doesn't make sense, does it? There's another one with, have you heard the Jeff Bezos one? It's, I worked at Math 8 the other day. It's if you earn $50,000 a year, which is relatively the average income, to get to Jeff Bezos' net worth of $194 billion, it will take you 9.8 million years.
That's wild.
9.8 million.
You can't.
We live 100.
But that's the difference in thinking of the way that rich people think and average people think is they don't equate value to money, they equate it to time. So like how much time extra do you get with the money that you have?
Yeah, you can't get that time by.
Yeah. Versus like, average people will be like, how much stuff can I get with the money that I have?
Yeah, absolutely. And do the deets in your house. The reason we're talking about this is it's so important to be able to kind of prove to yourself you can do them in your own home before you move out. And that's from experience, because didn't do the deets in his own house before he moved out. And it took me a few years, unfortunately, to realize and understand that it is an important part. Although it can be characterized as a small thing, it's a massive hurdle to get over. Once you realize and move on and get over it, you realize that it's small. But if you can't get over that thing, god damn, you're in for a world of hurt.
I feel like once you get into like the workforce, and if you want to move up to the manager position fast, people look at like how much value can you provide without letting your ego, without letting your entitlement get in the way. So that's a must. That's something you got to build.
Yeah.
And how do you build that? Start by adding value to the people around you.
Yeah.
In your house.
What was your experience like, G? Because you really moved in here in Feb. Yeah. And that's when you like started doing the deets here.
Yeah.
Were you doing the deets at your own house?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a lot, not like massively, but I was helping mum and dad like fix up a lot of stuff around the house. Yeah, so like painting the house, like fixing like cracks in the walls.
Yeah.
Like buying stuff that I could.
And how did that affect the way you worked?
At Nando's or
what? Or just wherever you were working at the time?
I think it helped me. Like just.
Did you feel more accountable to things?
Yeah, I think so. It was a slow process, right?
Yeah.
So I started doing it at home, And then it's like Jordan Peterson says, right? Like clean your room. Start with your room, because obviously I wasn't like born like this. I was obviously entitled when I was a teenager. So it was a slow process. Like I started when I was like, I started with my cleaning my room, and then I moved to like helping mom and dad, and then I started applying it at work. It was a bit more harder at work because it was like a lot of ego, a lot of entitlement. So I think that was a bit of a hurdle that I had to get over. Once I moved in here, it made it a lot more faster because like I realized like everyone was doing the deeds, and that I could apply that energy to my workplace a lot faster. So it was a bit of a process. It wasn't like straight away like I started providing value. It's like I feel like it's something like you got to build, like a muscle you got to build.
Yeah, absolutely.
Providing value.
Yeah.
Talking about those entitled people, because we're talking, about, like Doc said, about those 18-year-olds, 19, early 20s. Sometimes they feel too entitled that they're worth more than doing the deets. Or, I'm worth more than that. I don't need to do the detail cleaning and all that stuff. So there's a lot of ego involved.
Yeah.
So, like, something that I always say to these people that have a lot of ego is, like, whatever your name, like, just say the guy's name's Dylan Weston, whatever. Like, hey, Dylan Weston, you look at yourself so highly. If you look at yourself so highly, how come you're not even capable of doing the detail cleaning? Like, you're weak. Like, say that stuff to them.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think you're too good to do the deeds, who the hell do you think you are, boy? That's wild, man.
Yeah.
That's like, even extrapolate out kind of you being a manager or a leader or a CEO or a business owner. You're not going to be a very good person to be around, or you're not going to be very inspiring. You're not going to have any leadership skills because, like leading from the front and doing, you wouldn't ask anyone to do what you wouldn't do. So if you think you're not good enough to do the deeds, then like you're not going to be able to run a business or take control of your life at all.
And that's it. It's just leading. Like that's how you lead. You got to be able to show people that you can do it first.
Take that responsibility.
Yeah.
But the other thing, so like we're talking about taking responsibility, but the other important thing about doing your details is to understand that all success usually comes in the details. So like everybody's trying to reinvent the wheel, come up with this brand new idea or something, and that's highly unlikely that you can invent the next iPhone or whatever. Most success in the world actually comes from finding a decent car and then just chucking some nice detail rims on it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just put rims on it. That's all you need to do. Just add a little bit of detail. Or like, you can just say, hey, all the burger shops, I rate them around 88 out of 100, 91 out of 100. So I'm just going to look at the little details, the things that I can tweak to make it 95 out of 100. Now that I'm 95 out of 100, I'm the best in the whole entire area. And now you're going to make money. So it always comes in like those details. Can you identify them? What's the customer service like? What's the cleanliness like? What's the actual taste of the food like? What's the variety of the food? What's the speed at which the food comes out to you? All of these little things.
Sure. Maybe one thing, if it's okay, just touch on, because we're speaking to that demographic, 18, 19, 20, specifically on this one. There's a kind of, the way we think, right, is we are not Elon Musk. Elon Musk reinvents a lot of the wheels. Like, he recreates shit all the time. We think in the most probabilistic way to success. Right? So you need to have self-awareness and realize that you're not going to be Elon Musk. Probably, don't know you might, but can you become Elon Musk? And the answer for all of us is no. Simply, the answer is no. So we think in the most probabilistic way to be successful, and adding the details to other ideas is a way of doing that.
100%.
For me, I feel like the details, because we have so much stuff going on in our days now, right? I feel like the details are a good way to break that up, because then it kind of uses a different part of your brain when you're doing your deets, and it comes down to like how much focus you can have on one specific thing, because you may not have that same focus on, like if you're reading a book or if you're doing consulting with or meeting with someone, you might not have that same focus. So like doing your deets every single day, it actually fills in the gap. for how you should operate every single day. It fills in that gap, and it's also like therapeutic. You can chuck on a fucking book and just clean the house. It resets you.
And talking about that, like the focus and stuff, like imagine you got the task of, oh, I need to clean this table. Then you should be thinking like, how can I clean this table to the best of my ability in the fastest way possible? You know, because you could focus 100% on speed, but if you go 100% speed, quality will suffer a bit. You might be able to get 80% quality and 100% speed. If you go 100% quality, then speed suffers a little bit. But I bet you if you go like 98% of both, it's actually possible. So you can go 98% speed, 98% quality, and that's like the perfect balance. So like every time you look at this table, like how can I get it done with the best of both worlds? Because if you wanted to make the best quality possible, you know, you'd paint the thing, you would put a bit of varnish on it and all that stuff, and you'd be here all day. So you're gonna have like a little bit of a balance of both.
Yeah. It's also like a game. Every single time you do the deets, it's like, what's the sweet spot? And can I do this better than I did yesterday? It's like a game.
I think we're about to touch on like becoming a leader, and just touching on what G was talking about, becoming a leader of your own house, like doing the deets. That's kind of, it sounds intuitive. It's like, yeah, that makes sense, being the leader, but it's by practice and experience. It's like, that's what Dylan did at Nando's for us, and that's what he did in the house for years. Being that leader, showing from the front of doing the deets. So if you're living at home and the deets are not done to the highest of standard, you know, be the leader, man. Like, let's be that person who changes the course. You know, right? You've got the deets sheet that we put in the last podcast or 2 podcasts ago, whenever it was. It's in a link there. You can find it. You can just make it yourself. Change a few things around, stick it on the fridge, and get cracking with it. Explain the thing to people. But when you're young, they don't believe you, which means you need to be consistent. You can't just put it up on the fridge, do it 1 week, and forget about it, because then you lose reputation in your parents' eyes, and you lose reputation in your siblings' eyes. You must be consistent. You must be a leader at all times, and make sure you're staying on top of everything. I just think that's an important point, the consistency part.
I think the dates apply to a lot of people in the mid-20s as well. Like there's countless people that have moved out with their friends, and the house is just a complete mess.
Oh yeah.
The whole house is just a mess.
We went to this one guy. His name's Uncle Toby. And we went over to his house, right?
Bro, I know who you're
And
talking about. You said Uncle Toby. Before you tell this story, I know exactly who you're talking about. You went with Uncle Toby.
So Uncle Toby, he's similar, but he's a male version of Olivia. And
Why is he an uncle?
so
This was Augustus.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be Augustus. I went blank, so I just went to the next thing that came to my mind.
Uncle Toby was the next thing.
Yeah, I was just thinking about muesli bars.
Yeah,
so.
He's so hungry right now. He's like, fuck.
Uncle Toby, sponsor us.
I feel like next person's gonna be Kellogg's or something.
Yeah. No, it was Augustus actually. So Augustus, he's always talking about like this sort of stuff as well. You know, like do your deeds and all that, but not really taking the right action. Like Jordan Peterson says, no, you actually got to do the shit.
Yeah.
You got to do it. You can't just say it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a guy that does this and all that. No, you got to do it. Because when we went to this guy's house, his stove bench, right? It was like a Mount Everest of food, of like charcoal just onto the stove itself, on the like where you turn it on. So, but it literally looked like a pile of like carbon. And then when you turn it on, it literally turns into a volcano. A little flame coming out the top of this Mount Everest.
Oh,
it's wild.
So disgusting. And the entire, I don't know what on the he was living in, but somehow the walls were like smelt. Like,
Do I know this guy?
just horrible. Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Ooh, Augustus.
He's a naughty boy.
He's
Naughty
a
boy.
But like saying some good, like really, really good lessons, but not backing it up.
Yeah.
That's
Don't be
like-
Augustus, man.
That has
It applies to like if you're living at home or even if you're living with your friends, like be that leader in your friend group and just be like, all right, boys, we're gonna start doing this cleaning, and obviously it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
It might be hard. Like ego's probably gonna fly around, and
for sure.
complaints are gonna fly around, but
For sure.
that's a part of like that leadership process, because if you can't like deal with the few people, how are you gonna like, you know, be a CEO of the company one day? How are you gonna rise in your job to being a manager?
I think leading with example, that's what you're showing with the deets, and just taking on like more responsibilities in your workplace is you're leading by example. Chris Rock has a really good saying about this, right? So if your car breaks down on the highway or the freeway and you just put out your thumb to ask for help of the people driving by, chances are no one's going to stop, right? But if your car's broken down and people can see you pushing your car, chances are higher that people will actually come by and stop because they can see you actually trying.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Chris Rock said that.
Chris Rock said that.
That's a ripper.
Shit. I thought he was just a comedian. Was wise.
It's
as hell.
funny and philosophical.
He's smart, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like most comedians
Most
are actually
comedians are
smart
smart.
because they think about how the world works.
I would have loved to see you do his accent. That would be hilarious. He's
They-
high
I
pitched.
can't do it.
They say
I'm not going to do it.
Sam was the
they say
accent
things
king.
they say things that people are afraid to say,
Yeah.
but like
They can
able
get
to
away with it.
Yeah, they're able to get away with it because they're saying that they're being comedians, right?
Yeah. It's just a joke.
Yeah.
Boys. Dog's going to have to run the toilet.
All right, go for it.
Oh.
You guys get started on the next one.
So yeah, like we're just talking about like you want to at your workplace, wherever you are, you want to start being that leader and showing that you want to level up. This is super important because if you're showing that you're a leader, even if you're the lowest of the lows, then you'll start to get noticed, you know, by the manager and all of that. And you should want to actually take on more responsibility, because when you start to take on more responsibility, talking about the McDonald's or Nando's example, then you start to learn other areas of the business, and you can start to see how this business works as a whole, not just the guy that's just flipping the burgers. So it's super important to like start leading. Like if you say you're going to be a top CEO one day or a businessman, well, you got to go up, you know, you got to meet that. And it's about leveling up slowly, taking on more responsibility to get there. Like you can't just go from the lowest of the low and then just start making your own business straight away. Like the business is going to fail.
Yeah.
And you don't have the respect of people because you didn't put in the work.
Yeah.
And they don't see you putting in the work.
Yeah.
And you got to prove it to yourself as well. Because imagine one guy that was just flipping burgers, saved up enough capital, which is props to you, saved up that money, and is like, nah, I'm going to open up my own place. But you don't actually have the experience. If you don't have the experience to do it, and it's all on an idea, it's going to be so risky, and it's actually going to be scary for that individual to pursue that. But if in the other case of, you save up the same amount of money, but then you upgrade yourself, you become a leader, you become a shift supervisor, eventually you become assistant manager, and then the manager, then you want to open up your own place. It's like, well, you got all the skills in the world to do it. It's not even that much of a risk anymore. You may as well go for it.
What was your What was your experience at Nando's? Because you quickly rose the ranks, and you had to deal with a lot of ego and a lot of people that were uncomfortable seeing your standards. How did you navigate through all that stuff?
It was really tough, but like straight off the beginning, I could tell like, man, the beauty of somewhere like Nando's is you can get to the top really quick, and that's like the best business degree of all time. And you get paid $20 an hour to be the manager, which is a great deal, rather than going to university and acquiring, like we're saying, $50,000 of debt and 4 years of time. So I could identify that straight away. So yeah, I just wanted to work as hard as I could to upgrade as fast as I possibly could. And like I said before, the average person takes 3 months to learn how the back kitchen works. It took me 2 weeks until I could run the whole thing, the whole entire back kitchen, which is half the restaurant. And then another 2 weeks after that, I knew how the front worked. And then all that was left was to learn how to order food, you know, actually how much chicken breast do we order and all that stuff. And then, yeah, like the natural thing is because I always rocked up an hour early, left always an hour late, and did the details like better than anybody, faster than anybody. Eventually became the store manager in 6 months. And then when she left, I was the natural replacement at age 21. And, you know, all of this happened within 9 months. And when I got that position in 9 months, I'm like, man, I'm the boss now. I'm gonna step this place up because this thing was our results, and we had all the data there that we would only make roughly $20,000 to $22,000 of sales per week, right? And then so much was going out the door with the wastage and all of that stuff as well, because like I'm saying, our profit margin was only 5%. We were wasting like 2% to 3% more food than we needed to, literally, of all the money coming in. So if we can just fix our wastage issue, we've literally taken the profit margin from 5% to 8% straight away.
Huge. Yeah.
You're almost practically doubling the money for the boss just off wastage alone. And so I'm just like thinking about how to bring all of this stuff in to really, it's not for me. I'm just looking at it like, man, this is a business. It's a great opportunity. I want to go at this and fix this thing. So I was super excited. My one mistake was, though, I went too hard too quickly and made too many changes straight away.
That's a good point.
So everybody's like, because there was other people that were 30, 35, and there was even like a 40-year-old there, someone in their 40s. And they were always thinking like, who's this 21-year-old to be running the shop? Why are they, should have gone to these three other people who were older. But they were only older. They weren't smarter. They weren't as wise or mature. I know they wouldn't do as good a job, for sure. But that's my one mistake. I didn't understand to be a leader. Whenever you come into that position, you want to keep it their way and respect their old way first, then make slow adjustments over time. You can say like this, it's really frustrating as a leader because sometimes you're like, man, if we just do it like my way, it's gonna be like so damn good. But you got to do it really slowly so they can slowly adapt to that. So let them have some things that they like.
Do you have any advice on like avoiding getting stuck in that, like stuck in their way, and actually sticking to making small changes?
Yeah, I think it's all a reputation play. Like everything comes down to reputation in life. So you just got to build up your reputation with each individual staff member and create that connection with everybody. Once you can slowly capture the minds and hearts of all of your members, then you can start to make those faster improvements.
Yeah.
And it has to be like a majority rule because, there's little like up rivals. If you don't have the hearts and minds of 30%, those 30%, that's big. And they'll start talking behind your back and they will start to say, oh, Dylan's doing this. Why did you swap the mayo bottle over? It's like, literally, this happened. Like, why is the mayo bottle gone from there to there? Well, because when the burger process, the mayo is the second thing we get. We get the bun, we get the mayo out. So I just put it in order, things like that. But if you touch their way, and they think it's their way and it's the best, man, we've been doing this and it's been working fine. Yeah, but it's not about that. It's about upgrading. So yeah, you got to win the respect of everybody really slowly over time. And then once you have that.
Because I noticed at my workplace, like, I also made that mistake. Like, I walked in and I was like, I was trying to provide value, but I just came in and I'm like, all right, let's do it this way.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh, who is this guy?
Yeah.
He's like young. Who is he? But like, now I'm trying to like just, win their hearts first and then do it their way. Yeah. But it's kind of like frustrating because like I know I could do better.
Yeah. Maybe as another example is we had this guy, he was Augustus literally at Nando's as well, and he literally said to me one day, he had a massive ego and he was older than me by about 5 years, and he said, I think I'm going to be the next Steve Jobs. That's what he literally said to me. I'm like, all right, so how am I going to dissolve this guy? Right. And I could see, like, to my face, he was acting all nice because he was getting investment tips off of me. I was making him a lot of bloody money, right? Behind my back, I could hear him through the fucking walls talking shit about me. I'm like, dude, you don't even wait until I finish my shift to talk shit about me, because he was jealous. He wanted that position. So I'm like, all right, how do I fix this issue? First thing is I'm going to provide him value. I'm going to do more for him. I'm going to ask him, hey, what can I do for you to help you? You look after more hours. If you're after more hours, what can we do together to make that happen? And then I'll do that. And that didn't fully work. I could still hear him talk shit about me. But now I can feel it. Like when he looks at my face and in his eyes, I can see like, he's like, oh shit, am I making the wrong decision? Because this Dylan guy is actually all right. He's not that bad. Then to fucking nail it on top of and solidify him in his coffin and bury the guy. What I did was hey mate, would you like to go out to Yum Cha for me for lunch? I'll shout you. You know, you don't expect this shit. So now I'm shouting in fucking Chinese dollars, dropping $100 on the lunch, which I need that money because I'm sacrificing every single dollar. But I could see that was a key pillar in the business to knock him over. When I knock him over, all of those people would knock over with him because he was like leading that little uprival thing. And then it's GG. And I'll win. Always find the way to win, boys.
So your strategy is kill them with kindness.
Yeah, literally.
You can only hate someone so much when they're telling you they love you every day, right?
I feel like that is the best way.
Yeah, it is.
Because you come off as like a way better person.
Yeah.
But like we're genuinely kind.
Yeah.
You got to do it with genuine
Yeah,
intent, of
sure.
course. But
Because like you are genuine to this guy because you just feel sorry for them.
yeah,
That they have to act this way because they're not mature, they're not wise, they have a lack of intelligence. So I feel sorry for them. I don't want to be you. You're 5 years older than me.
Mm.
I'm
and you're
way
thinking
smarter.
like a kid.
Yeah, you're thinking like a little kid.
Yeah.
You're telling me you're going to be the next Steve Jobs. Mate, you're 35 at Nando's. It doesn't relate to you being the next Stevie Jobs.
Dude, Steve Jobs had $1 billion by 30.
Steve Jobs would backhand the shit out of you for using his name.
Steve Jobs would make you cry.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of lessons in there.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good story. I was very, very lucky to be able to watch, not understand, but watch, Dylan make these moves and really lead from the front is probably the best way to say it, especially at Heatherton. God damn.
Do you have like any advice for people? Like, so we talked about how to take leadership in like a fast food kind of restaurant environment. Is there anything that you would say, how do people take leadership in an office-based environment? Like, what's some tangible things they could do?
I don't know that much about the office space environment, but something that I would say is if you're a young gun and you're new to the company and all of that, even if you're not a young gun, the managers are actually looking for someone to step up. Everybody's waiting for that person to say, hey, I'm the guy, I want to take on more responsibility. I don't want to have the output of one staff member. I want to have the output of 5 staff members. This is me. I'm going to have this higher standard because I want to be someone special when I'm older. Every manager's waiting for that, because it's going to really make their life easier. Like even going up to a manager and saying, hey, I don't want your actual job, but I'd love to make your life easier. What's some stuff that you could teach me and I could do it for you on your behalf and you can take all the credit still. Yeah. So then the manager doesn't feel threatened that you're going to take their job or something like that. Like, actually, you did say the office thing, but going back to Nando's again, I just had this in my mind that I wanted to find a 15-year-old that came to me and said, like, I'm the guy that's going to do 5x the amount of work as everybody else. And I wanted to make them a shift supervisor before the age of 18, because that was a rule at Nando's. Shift supervisors have to be adults. I wanted to convince the boss, I've got a 16-year-old that's a shift supervisor. That was like my dream. And like, this is the freak. This is the little specimen we got here. And then just shock the boss. We got this little specie going hard. So that's like, if you can go up to your boss and just say, hey, I'm going to do whatever it takes to level up, and I'm going to make your life easier. Yeah. And I guarantee you that. I might not be the fastest learner in the world, but I'll stay back and keep on studying and find a way to make it a reality for you. Yeah. Everybody's waiting for that.
And definitely person. Mean it. Like, that's not a trick. It's not a trick like that you say that and you win the boss's heart. Yeah. Like, you say that and then your boss actually tests you and then you do the tests. You actually stay back. You actually work really hard. You provide the value. You do it. Yeah.
Well, you guys, you, Sammer and Doc, do you guys have any? You guys actually worked in a proper office environment. I actually never really did. Do you guys have any?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to go first? You can.
I think you nailed it. Because what you said it's actually universal. If you can provide more value to your manager or whoever's your leader of your group, making their life easier, that's the biggest value that you could probably give in an office-based environment. Because there's not much cleaning because they have cleaners and all that kind of stuff. But maybe to probably build, because I was in a team that in my workplace I was in the engineering department, and there were a lot of different teams within the engineering department. And the thing is, because it's such a fast-paced environment, there wasn't a lot of communication between departments. I was lucky enough to have like a really close friend when I first started who was really, really good at networking between departments. Like everyone in Jetstar knew him and they loved him because he was a people person, right? So he told me 50% of the time you should be talking to people. You should not be at your desk.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. You should be talking to people, getting your name out there, and then showing people that you're a reliable person. That's what you should be doing 50% of the time. In my previous role, which was, in a more managerial kind of pathway. And I feel like in those type of environments, the value is to actually build culture.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people they don't enjoy what they do because it doesn't have meaning. But if you can somehow give meaning by changing the culture, that's value. And that's when people see you as a true leader. So it's like you can help the manager more by taking on more work, but you could also provide value by improving the culture of your department, and then trying to make two departments talk more to each other. I feel like that's a really big valuable thing you could do in an office-based environment.
Mum was always identifying key players. So the environment I worked in was really, really was high stress. There was a lot of go. And a key player is driving that stress. It was like, why is it an environment like this? There is already external stress. There's a lot to get done. You have to do it, etc., etc. Is the environment we're in, are we making it harder on ourselves? And me, you guys know me, you probably say I'm relatively laid back. Just because I've dealt with a lot of stress, so I know how to deal with it. And that was kind of a position I put myself in all the time, was like, put the stress on. Let's understand how to diffuse it, and then work out the key players who are always stressed and putting out into the world that they're always stressed, and let's deal with them. And let's help them understand, probably not the best way to actually deal with the stressful situation or deal with the situation in general. And then helping the other people. Like we had one older guy who, he seemed very stressed all the time, like losing his mind. But it's actually just how he dealt with it. It was like in his head, he's just thinking, like he's walking around, he's pacing, he's like dealing with the thing. But no one understood that. So it hurt other people because they were thinking, oh my God, he's losing control, etc., etc. But it's like, it took someone in the middle to say, hey, that's just how he deals with things. It's okay. Don't let it stress you out. He's dealing with the problem in his own way. That's completely fine. You just need to be able to. And then there was a few other things like working with customers, and departments, as Sam was saying, identify the key players in there and get them on side. So in a stressful environment, you need information as quick as possible, and preferably before the problem is even there. So if you identify those key people, especially in like a chain network where you're trying to look at 100 different things at once, you want people to reporting you as quick as possible. So I would always have the manager of this or the manager of that, the manager of this, the manager of that, always proactively saying, hey, we might have a problem here. We might have a problem here. We might have a problem here. And then you get called the fixer pretty quickly because you're fixing problems before they even happen. And then, just think proactively as well, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a ripper, boys. Any other things that we want to add to that one? I think we hit a lot of it on the head.
Yeah, it's endless, I think, but I think we'd just be waffling.
Yeah. But this is super important. Like, you just want to become a leader in your workplace, take on more responsibility. It's going to give you great perspective of what life is actually like, what running a business is actually like if you go down that route. And it'll just give you respect for the dollar at the end of the day. Because to make $1, it's not easy, To make dollars is not easy. So, like, going back to that young kid that was living at home, that was saving up his first 10K and doing the deets and all this stuff. Now it's really starting to solidify the picture. Like, what is it actually taking to become an adult? Because I remember, like, when I was a kid, whatever I thought it was to be like an adult, I had no idea. It was way harder than I thought. I thought life is going to be so easy when I can do everything my way.
Hmm.
Dude, it's not easy. It's not
It's
easy at
not
all.
easy.
But then, yeah, the next one is after you got these things down, you've saved up 10K roughly, maybe more. You're starting to do the deets at your house, and you're becoming a leader in the workplace, and you're acquiring more skills, and you're having more responsibility. So you're definitely stepping outside the comfort zone. Then the last one pretty much is to move out of your house, you know, to not have your parents there at all. So you're making all the decisions for yourself. You're having to cook for yourself. You're having to clean for yourself, and you've got no choice but to do the deets. And then this will be a great determining factor to see, like, can you actually check your house? Like, can you honestly say, like, if you think you're at this stage, can you honestly take a video of your whole house right now, upload it to the internet, and see that your house is perfectly spotless and running efficiently? Odds are, most people aren't at that stage. And most people never get to that stage in life. And if you can't do these 4 things that we've spoken about, then if your goal is to become successful financially, it's going to be very difficult for you. So these are 4 big heavy hitters. So yeah, like just moving out of home was a real big one for me. Like just thinking about just I remember going to the supermarket, you know, running out of something. It's just annoying. And then having to cook it after a long day at work, 12 hours working at Nando's, and you have to cook your food and all this stuff. You know, it's like, oh, damn, this is what it's like to be an adult, and I can't stay like this forever. I got to find a way to make money work for me. Got to find a way to be an investor.
I get it. Probably leave it if you
Yeah.
want. Yeah. I remember it's a funny one I talk about all the time is like when you move out of your house and there's no salt. I think it's the small things for me, like when you move out and you're like, there's no salt, there's no tomato sauce, you're like, damn, bro. Everything?
Yeah.
There's always been salt in the house. There's always been tomato sauce in the house. There's always been this, then that. But not having those things, you're like, oh, shit, I better work my shit out really quickly.
Yeah. It dissolves the ego, right? Because you got no one to blame but yourself at that stage.
I think the big one we don't talk about enough is our washing. We had to take it to a coin laundry for years. Like, if you live at home, you've had, more often than not, a washing machine and a dryer in your house.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to do anything. Like, you just put it in there and then move it to the dryer, which is, dude, having to take everything to the coin. Do you know how annoying that is? Do you know how much shit I've had stolen from coin laundries? Do you know how many times, like, I'm so fatigued, I forgot that I had my stuff in a coin laundry and it's just left there for a day? That's happened to you?
I remember one, like it says it closes at like 12 p.m. or something, 12 a.m. And then it was closed at 11:45. I'm calling like, man, I made sure I was coming at 11:50.
Yeah.
You locked in on me. I got all my stuff in there, my uniform, my underwear.
Yeah. So it's like people don't factor in a lot of that stuff sometimes, you know? And maybe go easier on your parents as well, because like they're having to deal with this stuff. And then raise your stupid ass.
And that's what, like, just having respect for items in general, like the washing machine. It's an expensive thing. Buying a dryer, it's an expensive thing. Buying a fridge.
Yeah.
Your 10K that you saved up, you're going to get through it pretty damn quick. You know? Like,
that's a fridge. It's half a fridge. It's ridiculous.
You have no
Spending
TV.
5K on a fridge, I mean, come on. That's a bit much.
But yeah, your 10K is going to go quick.
Yeah, it's going to
go real quick.
Got one of them things that orders for you and you only got 10K in total. But yeah.
Did you guys talk about your like individual experiences of moving out?
Some of the things, not actually moving out.
Yeah.
I remember my kind of environment at home was not the best when I was younger. For 2 reasons. One, I was a prick. And I mean, I was just doing everything kind of like different, but I couldn't explain it or articulate what I was doing. So there was a lot of fights and my ego was all time high. So between my parents and I, our relationship sucked for so long. So I needed to change my environment to fix that and become who you see today. So moving out was probably one of the best things I ever did. I don't think it was too early. I think it made sense. I think I moved out when I was 18, 19, around there. somewhere. So yeah, probably won't talk about the story that you boys want to talk about just because it doesn't matter. But it was very quick moving out, and then I can say now that my relationship is the best with my parents it's ever been because of that distance.
I think
It's also because I worked on myself.
yeah,
That's the point.
it's like you truly become an adult when you get off your parents' payroll.
Entirely, by the way.
Entirely.
Entire 100%.
Yeah, and that's the reason why your parents don't trust you being an adult is because they're still paying for your shit. As soon as you're fully independent, and then they can see that you're surviving well, and you're doing well, and you're taking necessary actions to actually better your life, there's a huge weight lifted off of their shoulders, and they start to treat you like an adult and have respect for you.
I think for me, like moving out was the best thing I've ever done because I could easily have stayed at home. My mum and dad would love for me to stay at home, especially in Indian culture. It's like you're supposed to stay home until you get married.
Damn.
So like all my cousins and all my family were like, "You're moving out at 23? That's really young, man. 22, 23? That's so young." But it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. And now I'm able to because I respect my parents so much more after moving out. Like now I'm able to go visit them and actually help them out.
Yeah.
That's a common thing in many cultures to stay at home until you get married. Like, I just can't see how that's a good thing. Like,
No,
honestly, because
it's not.
I don't see it.
even just moving out with a girlfriend for the first time, and you find out you guys are going to be clashing and all of that, it's unlikely you get along very well when you're with each other 24/7.
Unfortunately, a lot of Indian guys, especially because they stay at home and their mother or their parents do everything for them. Like once they get married, now the wife has to do everything for them.
It's toxic.
It's
as
unfortunate,
fuck.
yeah. But that's how it is.
Little weak men, man. They're not even men. They're little boys.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Dude, if that whole your woman's gonna be in the kitchen kind of thing, that is actually just a weak human being. It's like it's not right.
Yeah.
Not that the whole fucking systemic sexism thing. Just like if you can't take care of your own shit, what kind of human, what kind of man are you?
Yeah.
You know, same as a woman as well. You can't take care of your own shit. What kind of woman are you?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Have you seen that TikTok? It's like what a girl actually wants. She doesn't want roses and all of this stuff. All she wants is someone to put the dishes away.
It's so true.
Dude, that's actually true. 100%. Fucking hell, man.
Dude, imagine you could do that. Just leave your dishes around the house for a year and just give one rose.
Oh,
Here we go.
fuck.
We're equal now.
It was a mad joke. There was this little Vine kind of thing, and it was some man. He's like, I gotta tell you something. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I put these dishes right. I put these dishes. I put them in the sink. They come get clean every time. The wife's just staring at me. What the hell are you saying? Wash this. We'll leave this here overnight. It'll be clean tomorrow. There's a fairy or something. The fairy. He's like, what is wrong with you? She's clearly, obviously been doing the dishes. He just leaves shit around the house.
I think it was that TikTok as well, and the guy, he left his clothing in a basket. He's like,
Yeah.
and that next day will disappear.
It'll be
I've been doing this
clean
for a
and
month.
dry. Yeah.
Just been experimenting. I think there's a fairy in this house. It's your fucking wife, man. She's cleaning.
I feel like that happens way too much. As in, maybe it is a man thing because a lot of men are just don't take responsibility for a lot of their things, and they don't think they have to do that. Maybe it is because they've been babied for so long, but yeah, it's not right. It's becoming the best version of yourself entails you being able to take care of your own shit. If you can't do that, you're a miserable human.
One of the problems that people identify with moving out of your house, because a lot of the time they agree with saving up the 10K because they have ego at the stage. I want money. Doing the D's is it might be a waste of my time from making the money. So sometimes they have a bit iffy with that. Becoming a leader in the workplace, they understand that because they get more pay as they rise the ranks. So usually it's money based. then that's where they get the problem with moving out of your house, because like, no, but I'm gonna start losing money now. If I stay at home, you know, my mum's paying me $150 for food. I don't have to pay rent. That's another $150. I'm saving $300 in extra money. So they're thinking in a very selfish manner like that.
Mhm.
But already straight away, like, what is the problem? They're selfish. They have a lack of character. If you have a lack of character, long term, when you have $100,000, $500,000, you won't even be able to get to those numbers because you don't have that character developed.
Mm.
So it's always based on, you know, if you want financial success, it's not only about the financials, it's about the character as well.
Mm.
And that's why it's so important to start compounding your character at such a young age by moving out of your house early.
You've probably heard us say many times, but you don't just get rich. You have to become the type of person who is rich.
Mm.
And that takes an entire change in character. Like a different, all of us are different human beings than we were, not just a year ago, but definitely like 16 and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like just unparalleled. And now we have the ability to make money, understand how money works, kind of, because it's always evolving. But yeah, unless you change and make that change, you're going to be stuck in the exact same place for your entire life. So it can be scary. I'll give you that. I'll 100% give you that. It can be scary. But 4 of us will sit here and tell you 100% that it is worth it.
Yeah. It's like Jordan Peterson says, like, chase what's meaningful, not what's expedient. So expedient means like what's like impulsive. Don't chase what's impulsive, chase what's meaningful. So like a little analogy would be like, would you rather, I don't know, if you have a lot of clothes or something, would you rather save up to buy yourself that next Supreme shirt, or do you want to save up to help your dad fix the door that he's been wanting to fix for like 10 years?
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Really good
What's
point,
more
Jake.
meaningful?
That allocation of money shows character as well.
Yeah.
Shows some wisdom.
I think an example of, or just like when I moved out, I think a lot of people could relate to this, and I hope it helps some people out there, but who want to move out but are afraid to move out. Like when I moved out, I didn't have a lot of life skills because I was very sheltered. Like my parents did everything, especially my mom. She did everything for me, so I didn't even do the deets at home. My parents, the culture of like how I grew up was just focus on studies, don't get a job. So I don't even have experience in a workplace environment and that kind of stuff. So I decided to move out because I was always clashing heads with my old man. And I think in a way, he won't admit it directly, but in a way he was like, move out, I dare you to move out. He was like that. Like every single day he would just be like, when are you going to move out? When are you going to move out? When are you going to move out? And my dad comes from like he grew up in a military school, in like a boarding school for his whole life. So he's always been, you know, independent. Like he didn't rely on his parents, and you know that, and he wanted to see that kind of strength in me. Right. This is all from hindsight. In the moment, I was just like, I just need to get out because this is not my environment. Right. So when I moved out, I didn't have a job, and I moved out. All I had was just a few investments. I had my 10K, a little bit more than 10K, and I had no jobs, like no stream of income coming in. Right. That was a really scary moment for me when I moved out because I didn't know how I'm going to pay rent. I had no idea. But all I knew is that I had to get out, and I'm willing to dip into this 10K because I needed to grow. If I didn't grow, I would just be stuck how my parents are. And, you know, my parents, to them, the life that they live now is success because, you know, they came from India as immigrants and they've done well for themselves. Right? So it's their level of success. But for me, I have to take that to the next level. If I want to take that to the next level, I have to do something uncomfortable, which was for me to move out. I didn't know how to pay bills, so that made me become really creative. So then I got 2 jobs.
Even in this house, sometimes we're a touch sheltered because he handles a lot of the bills. So it's like when we move out, like if we ever, like boys, we're living together forever, but like if like when we have to deal with our own bills as well, that's gonna be an interesting fucking thing. Like to that point, continuously getting out of your comfort zone and continuously building on getting outside your comfort zone. Like that was the first one, and then I'm sure there's many things after that that have started taking you out of your comfort zone even more, right?
It was a scary moment for me.
But it's a great investment.
Yeah,
Great
really
use
good
of that
investment.
10K.
Yeah. And like when my dad kept telling me, when are you going to move out? When are you going to move out? And then one day a truck pulls up to like take all my shit and go to the new place. And then I just saw the expression on his face. He was just shocked. He was like, fuck, he's actually doing it. Those moments are priceless. I feel like everyone should have those moments.
Yeah. And someone will face that moment. I remember, same as me with becoming the store manager. Remember when I finally, that was my goal, to become the store manager. And it was finally offered to me. It was like time froze. I'm like, oh shit, it's happening. And then I got scared. I'm like, oh fuck, do I say no? Yes, and it felt like there was an eternity in my mind. I don't even know if I just went blank for 10 seconds or not. And I'm just like, I have to say yes. Even though it's so scary to say yes, I don't know truly how to run the shop. But I got to say yes for the growth and figure it out. You got to say yes to grow.
You become really creative when you force yourself to be uncomfortable. You become so creative and you'll find a solution.
And that's the thing,
Cheers to
like,
that, bro.
Yeah.
that's the thing, like, again, Jordan Peterson talks about this, but like, if you don't find ways for you to step out of your comfort zone, life will bring you life will force you to like step out of your comfort zone. So like, if you don't find a way to like challenge yourself now, in the future something's going to happen to one of your family members, unfortunately, and you're not going to know what to do.
Family members, COVID, something's coming. So you might as well be proactive now, build yourself up, make yourself strong now. Something.
So then in the future, you know what to do when that bad thing happens.
Or at least have the capacity to deal with it.
I think we hit every point there, boys.
Let's go, boys.
And, speaking about, becoming strong, I think people, tuning into this one, they should check out check out episode 14, which is going to be a really special one because we have a guest coming on who is an extremely strong person who's always stepped out of their comfort zone. So to get his story, it's going to put what we have to say in more perspective. And can't wait for that one.
Yeah, I think maybe one message to finish off is we were all the weak ass little kid. There isn't anything special about us. We were all the little kid, but we found a way. All we did was stick to it, constantly try to upgrade ourselves. And now it's like, 10 years later for us. And this is where we are now. So anyone can achieve this.
That's the thing, it's progress. It's like that you got to put in the work every day, every hour. And like, you think like, because it's so small, like it's these small wins that make you a better, stronger person, right? But you think because it's so small, you're like, oh, I don't want to do it so small.
I think the most beautiful thing about going on this journey is like sometimes like I'm just so grateful that I'm alive and I'm in the position I'm in. And I'm just like, damn, life is actually so beautiful. It's like the best thing in the whole world. Like it's perfect. Like it's literally perfect. I love it, man. Like, how can you not? Like, when you have this mindset, it's like,
dude, all these challenges, everything's a blessing.
Literally every day is a good day.
That's our saying, right?
Every day is a good day and a very big day.
We go large. We go large every day, boys.
Exactly right. We go large.
Maybe to end, I could probably say something that's really beautiful from the late Kobe Bryant. He was on an interview talking about advice that he was giving to his kids about success. And to him he was telling his daughters, saying that real success is not the end, but enjoying the process. That's real success. And if you can understand that, you're going to be happy. So on that note, should we wrap it up here, boys?
Yeah.
So again, thank you guys for checking out episode number 13. If you guys liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, share it with all your friends and family. Hit that notification bell so that you don't miss an episode. We upload every single week. And this is 13 weeks in a row, episode 13. on that note, let's back it up.
Pack it up.
Back it up.
Back her up, sons.
Thank you for listening.